Of Bespoke Architects Daily Pinup. I am Nicole Walters, Director of Bespoke Architects, and I'm about to show you what inspirational images made our Pinterest boards today. The house by Kennan and built by Duo Built is a project that I fell in love with for the materials palette. So I've pinned multiple pins that you can see in the top row here, and they're all about material. So this vanity, very rarely do we see a textured vanity front like that, which looks to be similar to the marble that's being used as the splashbacks and the inlays in the tiles in the showers. So I should say in the shower there as a tile. So really enjoying the look of that vanity. It's just stunning, and catching that little hydronic heating panel underneath there to keep the bathroom nice and warm. I just thought that was a beautiful bathroom. Here's another detail, same project. We can see that same marble or Caesar stone that's been used there as the vanity counter, and then up on this shelf. And then the contrast with that and the tiny little Kit Kat tile and then this big round mirror is why that image made the board. I put up the pin, I pinned this one with the bath at the back of the shower. It's called a wet area. It's quite a great design solution. It gives you the most amount of functionality in the smallest amount of space. Some clients have an issue with putting a bath in a wet area because it is going to get wet when the shower's on. My response to that is it's designed to get wet, but I do appreciate that for some people and the style in which they live and the way that they like to clean, that's not an actual option. And then you'll see between the bath and the shower itself these inlay tile drains in the floor for the water runoff from the shower. So it's just a really elegant solution there. And then this is a different shower, same project. You can see the same marble wrapping up and that same Kit Kat tile contrasting with the precast concrete panel wall. And this is actually the end of a shower. I can tell that by the coat hooks and that being a seat. From that same project, the staircase. Very, very simple, solid plaster, open tread, timber. It looks stunning coming at it from the top out to that landing there. And this is the same landing from the underside or the other side of that dividing wall. So again, we're looking at a plastered wall, so a solid balustrade here, and then you're getting the openness through the stair tread. So a bit of a contrast to the stairs that we were pinning yesterday. That marble look carries through into the master suite, and they've made a shelf behind the bed, and that's why I pinned that. And then again, the same marble, the precast panel here on their fireplace. That's a detailed shot of it, and that's the overall image for it there. It just, that balance is amazing, and that flue above the fireplace. It's a really interesting looking living room. And this is the other side of that space, and that's the kitchen. Again, the precast concrete is the real feature of this kitchen in the splashback. It's quite a simple kitchen in its design. It doesn't have many bells and whistles. It's more about the materiality, and then the drop down dining room table in the same marble material. And we can see that the floor finish there ties up to the stair finish up there and is referenced even in this image or this painting above the bed. So a really nice palette of materials, really well put together, and carries through all the furnishing of this property. And then finally, their traditional ceiling rose, and then this more contemporary take on a pendant light in their front hallway. I just really liked that as an actual lighting solution. That's it from the exterior, so from the backyard. And again, we can see that concrete form there making that beautiful gable shape with the glass infill. So it is quite a heavy border and then quite a light infill. So that's why that image has made the board. Moving on, the Palm Street project has made the board for this skylight solution. This is obviously up in the top level of a property, and this skylight opens up in a vertical fashion, creating a roof so that you're getting fresh air. It creates kind of like a mini balcony, and you are getting protection from the weather if you're sitting there. So I really liked that as a design solution. As to their joinery in the bedroom, so you can see that instead of a robe in this instance, this is obviously a smaller traditional size property. We can see the original fireplace there. They've sort of done some really subtle white handleless joinery under the window, creating a bit of a window seat, and then this fixed shelf and handrail suspended from the ceiling for their wardrobe. I really enjoyed that. Same project, the skylight over the bath. Obviously, these architects really enjoy a skylight, and they've done some beautiful stuff here. And again, I mentioned it on other episodes, being able to sit in the bath, look up and see the sky is quite a treat. So that works well. The staircases in this project, it has got two. It's got this steel with the mesh tread underneath. So again, we've got a solid balustrade and then a transparent or translucent sort of staircase. So that's adding lightness to the stair and letting light filter through, as we can see in that image. And then I pinned this other staircase from the project. So it's a solid tread. We've got traditional sandstone wall, and then we can see the opaque glass balustrade screen there, so adding some light into that stairwell. So two quite interesting staircases from the same project. The Erskineville, I really liked the car parking solution. So that is it here. It's like a perforated metal screen that's a sliding door system, that multi-leaf sliding door slides open to park the car. Just the asymmetrical roof shape of that project is what caught my eye from the exterior, as well as as I say, the car parking. And then of course, this little vanity that must be in a powder room, judging by the size, and just the way they've done this mirror with almost a shroud top and bottom that or a shelf, I guess, but a shroud that allows you to sit plants and your hand soaps and all that sort of thing here for this powder room. And then we've got the coat hooks up here. The Lake Winderee house, this had some exquisite, this is a timber pivot door. I am a huge fan. That is enormous. That must be a very heavy door, but it looks amazing. The external of this property is this image here. So it's a combination of brick and timber, this project externally. It has some really interesting window shapes that we can see here that have got built-in seats at the back of them. And this is the same sort of, they do the timber window shroud in this one. So we talk a lot about window shrouds and different materials. This is it in timber. This is the courthouse or the courtyard or the alfresco for it, which I really liked the contrast of the materials. Again, it's got the standing seam with the asymmetrical roof line, so the roofs are all running in different directions. The kitchen was really interesting in this property. It's sort of got this bench at this end, and then it wraps down into the kitchen proper, and then here this is from the other end, and then it wraps around and it becomes the dining room table. And again, it's that marble look that we saw in the other project that's being used as a continuous sort of statement in their joinery, and really think that makes an interesting kitchen layout. And then the front door, the cantilever over the front door offering protection from the weather. And then the contrast again in materials, the bricks, the timbers, and your, I'm going to guess it's a zinc standing seam just based on the colour. The Aspendale, sorry, I should say, from Low Living, loving the pergola and the decking as an entry point to this property. And the fireplace, that is actually, if you click on the image and zoom in, you'll actually see that that's a mosaic tile top to that joinery piece there, which I thought was really, really interesting. We don't often see tiles in a horizontal application outside of a bathroom, so enjoyed that. The Casa Miller, the colour palette on this project, that aqua turquoise colour there, we see it in the kitchen, these amazing little handles, the parquetry flooring. The colour of the cabinetry reflects up into the light, and then we see it carrying through the project in the screens. And again, we've got some broken irregular patterns happening in the screens to the dining room in that image. The turquoise colour again makes a feature over here in what looks to be a small study desk. And then this is a bedroom from the same project. And we've just got some really strong lines and paneling of material. So breaking up just a plain white plasterboard wall with some texture and some colour and some interest. That's the reason that project made the board. The Casa Denda Directa is this project down here. An unbuilt project, I think we're just looking at renders here, but thoroughly enjoyed the hanging fireplace. We did that in Bespoke Derbyshire house number 3. Interesting solution to an ensuite. So this is a cube made of this lattice type screening material that bifolds back to be the shower, the toilet, and then this bifold vanity is actually the rectangle at the rear. This is in the same project and just that curved back of the wall. So instead of just having a bed sitting against a wall like in this image with a bed head, I'm really enjoying when we introduce a material that we're seeing throughout the project, as we did up here in this first one where we saw the stone as the bed head. It's still got an actual fabric bed there. And then in this one, we're seeing the fabric bed sitting in front of this ripple screen. It's just adding another level of interest to the room. And then this amazing reading light that's bracketed off the wall outside of that image. And they've done something similar from their ensuite treatment to their kitchen treatment. So again, it's the bifold screen doors happening there. And then their use of a white aluminium as opposed to a black sort of steel framed window and door combination that we're seeing is very popular at the moment. We're seeing it done here in white, and that looks incredible. Moving down through the board, the home dome. This one, amazing water feature. Perhaps I just like turquoise today. So I love that little shallow water feature with the tile to really draw your eye to it. This is obviously a rooftop garden. Such a beautiful stair. This is the stair in a broader shot here, and then here is the detail. It's just simple steel plate. Rio is acting as the balustrade, and then we have a timber tread sitting on top. Externally, it's the most exquisite stacked stone, roof and walls. And this is it again here, what an amazing looking building fabric. And then you've got this concrete sort of acting as an awning to the alfresco. So that was the material choice externally, was why this one made the board. And then internally, that shower, just the use of the green paint with the whites, the tiny little mosaic tile, and then this strong black framed shower screen certainly made that one appealing. And from that same project, we've got this kitchen. So this kitchen is really interesting. We have a fireplace here, we have a walk-through here, we have a solid element to the end of the kitchen, and then we've got our island bench with our sink and our bank of joinery at the back that does contain the wall oven. So just an interesting kitchen layout to kitchen living, and where do you focus your eye? You know, always something to consider when you're doing an open plan living dining kitchen. Where's everybody looking when they're sitting in the space itself? This image, obviously the spiral blue stair. I do like a coloured staircase, and then contrasting that was this really solid concrete staircase from this the Olive Tree Villa project, that just the softness in that and the fact that it's not a uniform material from the front made the board. Externally, again, the way that the facade, which is just a couple of squares, essentially parapet squares, are broken up. We've got this monolithic black with a tree uplit in front of it. We have these timber doors here, which are the garage doors, I'm guessing, with some screening here. And then to the back, we see that same referencing of screening and door and what looks to be an entry canopy above. So that really just a beautiful composition for the front elevation there. And their kitchen was really elegant, and then leads you from being the kitchen past the full height, what we can assume to be a pantry or fridge, leading out to sort of this study area on the other side. So again, integrating sort of that kitchen, dining, living, study area in one space, and how that can be done using material and layout to achieve that. This particular Hollywood home, it was a material choice that got it across the line. This vanity bench, the way that it recesses against the marble wall, I thought that was stunning. The lighting in this, it's a very traditional, if you zoom in on that picture, you will see some wrought iron staircase that sort of references back to the early 1900s, late 1800s, and then this really contemporary light fitting, and I just love the contrast of the two in the one space together. And then their furniture selection, again, loving the rich blue fabric of this single cedar, and then we've got the softer ash coloured couch, the glass coffee table, the bronze coffee table. It's just an interplay of interesting shapes and colours and fabrics that really make essentially just a dadoed white room have interest in it. And then we keep moving down. I have pinned this one before, this project before. It does sit as the main pin on my materials board because I just love the concrete against the rusted steel, against the glass, and why not add a bath if you can. The Comfort in Context house, this was just an incredible sloping site, artificially made with all these amazing cantilevers. The car parking for this project is down here. It's sort of open to the back and it has this little roof. It's just a really interesting way to park a car. That's why that's in there. The way they fitted out this little bedroom, it's like a little pod that slips in and it allows you to sleep but then work at the end of it. I found that an interesting solution to a smaller space. Again, their kitchen materials, again, we've got that precast concrete acting as the splashback to the kitchen and just how you do your appliances and your shelving. It is actually quite similar to the kitchen up on this upper project here, where we saw floating shelves, a bit of solid black, and then the precast concrete as the feature. So that was obviously a strong theme coming through today's Pinterest board. More from that same project, the Comfort in Context house. We can see this beautiful alfresco area, quite simple. The landscaping, as I mentioned, is stunning on that project. Interesting way to do the island bench. So that's the back of this bench we can see over here. They've just got a small raised section that just slightly conceals the prep area without being a super high division. And then, of course, the portion at the back of that bench is big enough to put serving plates on if you're serving. That was that front image of the carport that we saw for the project. This is the back of it, or the side view of it here, and that's it from the front, which is that blade wall in that image there. This different project, but I pinned it as an interesting way to get up to a mezzanine. So we can see some solid steps leading to a vertical ladder, and then that's the mezzanine up there, and the interplay of that space was why that one has made the board. Then this is that same Comfort in Context house. Again, that cantilever that wraps around that existing tree. The precast concrete that we see referenced inside is referenced outside. It's just a really nice project up there. And then, of course, another just another product to use for the bench top into the sink. So that was pinned up there. Then we've got these amazing timber joinery door handles on this project. And that's why that one made the Pinterest board. This one I pinned as a makeup table solution for some clients really like to have a dedicated makeup area. We can see the mirrors above. We can see the shower and the bathroom in the background there. This potential space to hang and store things, and then just to sit here and put your makeup on. I thought that was really lovely. Stairs, as always, are a big feature for me. So this was pinned as, this is an external stair, obviously, but viewed from the inside. We've got solid walls either side and glass looking out and getting light in between the treads. I thought that was really interesting. Same project, and just this external stair and how it leads your eye up, and it's a gentle staircase to go up. So I thought that was really nice. The box house also had some really incredible, like, look at that window at the end of that stair. That's just stunning. The way it's broken up into different panels, but there is definitely a pattern there. And again, the solid plaster balustrade with the timber on top, and then the solid timber stair. This is the house from the outside, just a juxtaposition of all these different cantilevered boxes working well together. And again, the window shrouds adding a little bit of shadow and depth to the facade. We see here, I pinned it for the doors. Again, if you zoom in, that's a glass door, and it has the most exquisite door handle, as does the solid timber door next to it. So that was just pinned for door furniture. This one was the screen solution and how that looks from the inside looking out. I pinned this one as a vanity bench solution. Again, materials, and then you've got that solid mass. There is a bit of storage, I'm going to guess, behind that medicine cabinet. And then we've got a bit of storage under here, but it's just an elegant, and there's some vertical storage there. Just an elegant joinery, and something a bit different, you know, it's asymmetrical in its design. And finally, the kitchen in the box house. I pinned that for the kitchen layout. So we can see that we've got our wall ovens here, our cooktop and range hood at the back, and a bit of a prep bench, a really long island bench with a sink in it, and then we've got another bench underneath a window. So that is a kitchen with a lot of prep area. So a really different solution, and one that obviously doesn't feed straight into a open plan living dining kitchen scenario. So that was all the inspiring things that we found today to pin on our Pinterest boards. If you are looking for more video content, why not go and check out Bespoke Architects house number 6. It is up on YouTube. It's a great little house. It's a holiday house down in Queenscliff. It sort of throws back more to a traditional style, given that the heritage overlay it was built in. It was on an axe handle block at the rear with some amazing views over Swan Bay. Thanks so much for joining us today. I look forward to seeing everyone